Welcome to another episode of the Urban Echo Podcast. My name is Edward Andrews. Today we're gonna have a deep conversation with the president of my board, Mr. Tom Veilleux. He's the H&R, the leader of the H&R for Valvoline and Mr. Sparkle Car Wash. Mr. Tom, always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Yes.
Looking forward to our time together.
Yeah. So today, this is a platform where opportunity meets preparation. Just a little bit about Mr. Tom Veilleux that I know. In fact, I'll let him tell you. Just tell him in the beginning.
Sure. So my name's Tom Veilleux. I work for Valvoline as an oil change and Mr. Sparkle. I've been with that company since the mid-'90s, so a long time. Been an amazing experience to work with just fantastic human beings. And it's through that work that I got to meet you, right? So we are blessed to be able to onboard people that were just as involved. And that actually started with the Open Hearth, as you know. And I've been with them for about 16 years, various capacities. I'm currently doing development with them, and I did 2 terms as president. And as you know, that's one of the oldest operating shelters in the country, and it does have a DOC component. So when I connected with them, we were able to onboard a lot of great human beings that, like I said, had been just as involved, but had done amazing things with their lives while in prison and while out of prison. And these are folks that have come to us and risen to decent ranks inside the company through their hard work. And just because they made a mistake in the past doesn't mean that they would continue those mistakes. And proud to have them as friends and coworkers. And it's absolutely amazing. The reason why you and I know each other, we have a mutual friend who connected us together in 2019. And because of that, we've been able to do some great work together. And I'm so proud of what you've done. Absolutely amazing, the work that you've accomplished and the people you've been able to help.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I just want you to explain to us what shaped your views on people and second chances.
That's actually pretty easy. So when I was a manager in one of the stores, I had a coworker who was just as involved, who is still a dear friend. We still work together. And I saw in this man an amazing human being that was ready to make a change and did. And he has helped so many people. He's raised 2 kids of his own, including adopting a 3rd child that was in a tough spot. Helped them all get through college, and he is somebody that I just absolutely admire.
Was there a moment that had just changed you to make you want to help just as involved population?
Well, it was what I just said, but also, getting involved with the Open Hearth way back when, and getting to meet some of the people that are there. It was clear to me that there were some wonderful people that could benefit from employment and mentoring and all those kind of things, and that it's a win-win. Both sides win when you onboard great people and you talk to great people, and you have great people in your circle. Amazing things happen.
So from an HR perspective, like what do you think, like how do y'all look for people who's qualified to be employed?
Well, we look for a great attitude. We look for somebody who is outgoing, who is kind, who wants to help customers, of course, because that's our bread and butter. That's how we survive. That's how we grow. That's how we've grown this business over a long period of time. So you're looking for somebody who wants to advance their career. I know at our particular company, we're very proud to say that we only promote from within. So, you don't get to be somebody who's a manager of another company and come be a manager with us. It wouldn't be fair to the good people that have worked very hard to get to that point themselves. So we're very focused on making sure that we grow from within. That's a big thing.
And so far, your record show itself, right? How many people y'all hired from the justice involved?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and we have great retention numbers too. For our industry, they are exceptional because we have so many good people, and we make sure that they're treated properly.
Good. And how many locations y'all have?
See, we have 185 loop centers. We have 17 car washes, and we're in 8 states. So we're in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Vermont, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and as of a couple years ago, we're also in Arizona and Nevada.
And so those states also accept just as involved individuals.
Absolutely.
And you oversight all of those states as well?
I do, yeah. Yes, our HR team looks after all that property. Yes.
And so in this line of work, because reentry has a lot to do with employment, and so these guys who's looking, they can see what do y'all be not accepting to hire you guys, like what be some of the barriers
You talking about if somebody shows up for an interview and it doesn't go well? Is that kind of what you mean?
if they don't get hired?
If they don't get hired, I would say a couple of things that are really, really important. I mean, dress to impress. You don't have to wear a suit, but it's very important that you're in, clean khakis, nice shirt. Be on time. That's one of the biggest things. We have a bunch of people that time slips by and they're 10 minutes late to their interview, and that doesn't result in a hire. It's not. It doesn't really bode well for their future if they can't make it to the first day. And just to be engaged, involved, and willing to learn and to express that, I think is really, really important. For us, we don't really look for people that have automotive experience. In fact, oftentimes we'd rather train folks ourselves because we want to make sure they understand our processes, and we're looking for good people every day.
Yeah, I know y'all. Each week, Steve give me an email to show me what locations, positions is available. So I know you just was answering some questions. I was wondering what separate guys who you hire from guys who don't get picked on the list.
Yeah, it's kind of about what I said in terms of the folks that show up and they're really eager to get hired. We've had some people come in and they're just kind of like not really excited, not really engaged. And
how could you tell if they're not engaged? Like,
there's a few things. I mean, look for eye contact. If they ask you questions, that's good. If the questions they answer are thoughtful and thorough, that's another big indicator that they're good people.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know people go to interviews, but they don't always, they get their hopes high and then they get turned around. But it doesn't be like it's the company's fault. Sometimes it be the way their interview go.
It can be, and one of the things I'd say for those folks that are looking for a job is it doesn't hurt to practice. So many things in your life you practice makes perfect, as we say, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important for somebody to do some mock interviews, like with a mentor, to get a sense of how you should conduct yourself in an interview, really to stand out as a candidate and to become a part of an organization.
And just explain a little bit. Sometimes you hire these guys on an entry level and they just get promoted and now they run the whole compound, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that's the only way we work. So, and I myself worked in a store, which is it's kind of interesting for an HR person to make that transition. But I moved from operations to HR about 10 years ago. So we really are committed to making sure that the folks that are supporting the good people in the stores really understand what they're going through and understand what their daily struggles are. So that's an interesting component of our business that's pretty unique and has helped us make us very successful.
Because that's big. I got like 37 locations. You said, right?
In Connecticut, yeah.
Oh, not including those out of state?
No, we're at like 185 with those. 185.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's crazy is when
how did Valvoline get started anyway?
Well,
you know the history?
I do. So it was started in Lexington, Kentucky, but for us, like for our history, I was working for a gentleman. His name was Abe Rose, and he owned the original 12 stores in Connecticut. And then the two gentlemen that bought these stores, Michael and Paul John Ferry, amazing human beings, they grew that from that size to where we are today. It's pretty amazing when you think, we started with fewer than 100 employees, and now we're over 2,000.
So what do you think that people need to change eternally in order for them to be like accepted with getting employed? Do you think is it do you think something internally needs to switch?
Yes. Yes.
Because I'm saying that because sometimes resumes don't show that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying internally.
I think that one of the biggest things people need to understand is that when you're going to a job, it's never about the paycheck, right? It's really about how much you'll enjoy the work, and the money will come. And it's really in our industry, and in any good industry, it's really about how much you want to mentor and grow other people, and how much you want to help other people
How much
succeed.
you want to invest in them?
How much you want to invest in them, and our best team members are those people that stop thinking about themselves as much as they start thinking about others, and they really focus on making sure other people's development enhances, grows, moves forward. And those are the folks in our organization that we love the most because they're unselfish, and they really look to other people as folks that they can assist in growing their lives.
So, being the board of Script, when these guys come to your locations, do you think that eternally the vision board and all of that be accepted, whereas it will be a easy choice?
An easy choice for the candidate?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean,
So what you think makes Script different, being on the board?
Oh, I mean, the biggest thing is obviously, your vision and what you worked on while you were incarcerated was amazing because you're helping people overcome their past trauma, which is the central theme to all the work that you've done. And I've watched it happen. How many people have been helped? And folks I talk to, they're kind. They have a sense of peace about them, and I think they realize they can have a great future. That is not blemished by their past. They're looking ahead. I think the fact that everybody can go through the training with you, getting the financial literacy, all that stuff is really, really critical. And it's been amazing to watch graduates, the smile on their faces during graduation. The graduation that we had, just over here 2 years ago, graduation inside prison, which was just an unbelievable experience to watch. You're talking about really kind people who are focused on their future and are ready to do big things.
Yeah. Because a lot of times I tell people that reentry, it deals with 5 components. And one of the components is employment. And so this is going to be the highlight of this episode because we want to get it from you, the leader of HR, at least 130 something stores, 30, I don't know the exact, but what exactly, go behind the doors when y'all make a decision. I think it's rely on the individual himself, right? But sometimes I don't think individuals get the proper training. I think that if you don't deal with your trauma, it's going to show up at your workplace. You ever had any type of issues like that? Like somebody exploded?
Sadly, we do.
For real?
Yeah, and it's difficult. And I'll tell you when it tends to happen is actually when it gets really hot out. The temperature really influences that. But people can have conflict. It's just as well as people can be connected well, they can be upset with each other. And I've seen things happen in the workplace. It's really sad to watch, somebody, potentially lose their employment as a result of a moment's negative behavior. But I will tell you that for the most part, we are very blessed to have great people that have their heads and wits about them, and that are just kind to other people. They're kind to their fellow coworkers. They're kind to the customers, and yeah, we've had that happen because, as we know, people are people.
That's why a lot of these work space do not, they take their time to hiring guys, like, say, because of their background.
Mhm.
Like, a person who robbed, snatched a pocketbook back in the days so he could get high, it might be difficult for him to go work in the bank, right?
It might be, but in our world, we don't focus on what people have done in the past. We focus on the future.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's the second chance about it. Talk about that some more.
yeah. The way I see it, if somebody's done something in the past that's not quite right, that doesn't mean they're going to do that again in the future. Just no different than somebody who's never been just as involved. They might make a bad decision in the future. So I think it's about where somebody's at in their head and in their heart, and what they're looking to do with their life. Um, and as far as hiring folks that were just as involved, you've heard of ban the box, right? So that's litigation that came out many years ago, which prevents employers from asking about convictions on the initial application. So we never did that. We'll never do that because I think it's information that will lead you to make a decision that doesn't necessarily take that person into account, who they are. You and I personally have known many people that have made a bad decision in the past, and they're great human beings I would trust with my life.
Yeah. And that's a part of script, though. Script is a part, whereas we don't welcome people, we don't try to only help you re-enter. We assist in you staying out. But one thing that these people should know, whoever is watching, is y'all do something else with your workers with getting their record expunged or something like that, right? You want to expound on that?
Um, that's actually something kind of private that we keep to ourselves.
Yeah.
I appreciate you asking about it, but
Yeah.
it's we don't. Yeah,
It's not for everybody.
It's
Okay.
not. Yeah, it's something where we love to do it, but it's kind of we don't kind of we don't put it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which I love, but it's we do it for the love of the people.
And that's all love. Like, I wish I gotta respect the boundaries, man. But
Yeah.
something like that, I think that someone would adopt those same practices to help this population, because um, this population, our population, is always getting looked down on, and everybody. I mean, many people think that they go to school, they read about it, and then now they know what it is like, but they don't know much of what we go through.
Yeah.
Psychologically or emotionally.
It's probably good to talk about Corey Brinson, who has an amazing organization that helps people get their records expunged with great success rates. Like, there are those resources out there if you want to do it. He's an amazing person.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what is it that it hurts for you to see about this population, though? Because you got so much emotions into us invested.
I do. The saddest thing is to see somebody go back in. That's the worst.
And what do you think would be the cause of that? I mean, that you know of.
They weren't ready. Like, they didn't have an organization like Script to help them get ready to be back into general society, be accepted, to be ready to be productive, have a job, pay bills, do all the stuff. That it's got to be a big transition. It's got to be very difficult to get out unprepared, and I think for the longest time that's been one of the struggles of the justice system, is that it doesn't prepare people to get back into society and to live a productive life. And if anything, it's it's counterproductive the way that it's working. And then now, if script could be in every single prison doing the amazing work that they do, I feel like recidivism could be greatly improved upon. And I know that's a big driving factor of yours, is trying to get that going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it hurts me too, but it hurts you more when you're inside and you see guys coming back 2, 3, 4 times during your one bid. And only thing I wanted was one chance.
Right.
I was pounding, but when guys return, it doesn't mean that they low lives.
No.
It just meant that they cope with society, the community, family, the best way they can. I mean, that they cope with it the best way they can, and they failed themselves. And all of that leads up to unaddressed trauma. And unaddressed trauma is like a visible pipeline that live in prison. And this is why we concentrate on that aspect. But you've been around since 2019, like 2020, 2019, and I think that you saw most of our graduates, their success out here. Rarely do anyone return, but I don't even see them like no more. Like no, after 6 months, it's not like we finished with them. I guess they just be finished with us. Like you know what I'm saying?
Mm. That's too bad, because I feel like those folks could really help the up and comers, right? They could really be a good resource for them.
I don't know what it is, man. But I just pray for everybody's success.
Mhm.
And success, we have to understand that our strength really don't comes from our surviving skills. You already said we out here.
Right.
Our strength comes from our healing. And too many agencies can't say they do the heal. Everybody wants you to be compliant but not transformed. And this is what I'll be trying to get on the front line for.
Well, to me, none of this is about like reports and that type of stuff. I've seen the human aspect,
Yeah.
right? And I love watching when there's a bunch of script folks together, helping each other, talking about stuff, and
Yeah.
just being kind to each other. And I think that's that is an amazing part of what what you're doing is making sure that people have a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood, and that they realize that mutual love and respect, everybody wins.
And employment play a big part.
It does.
When we are in our work area, you know that we're not in the streets.
Right.
It's simple, you know what I'm saying? But it scares me a little bit because if you're still dealing with the unaddressed trauma, then when you get that first check, that triggers you. Because a lot of people is not in jail because they John Gotti or some big drug dealer. They came in there because they on drugs.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate if you had saw that in your workspaces, whereas the guys could be doing or girls could be doing so well, but after they get that first paycheck, they might be coming to work late or not at all.
Right. I mean, one thing I did see over time is you'd have somebody that be in a halfway house. They would have some imposed structure, and well, you worked in one as well, right? They'd have some imposed structure, and then as soon as that structure ended, that's when things got difficult, because they weren't prepared for that level of freedom, that level of ability to do what you want when you want, and the old ways creep in, and next thing you know, sadly, they're probably back in.
Those unaddressed traumas, it's going to show up sometime.
Yeah.
Just don't know when, but it's going to show up if it's not being addressed.
Yeah.
You know. And what also may you want to share with us about employment and Raveline and car wash, Mr. Sparkle?
Well,
And how long did you have Mr. Sparkle car wash?
We actually bought those during COVID. That was interesting. So it's been a few years, it's been a little bit. Amazing business, amazing people, and
At the car wash too?
oh yeah, well, of course, right? We have the best people. It's really fantastic. I have friends, people I know that go in our stores, and I can't. How do you do this? And I don't do it. It's not me, by the way. Um, it's really the folks in the stores that just have a great environment. So what I'd say to somebody is, if you want to be part of an amazing team and have an almost unlimited future, it's only limited by how much you want to do. I think it's a great place to be. Certainly been there since the '90s, so I love it, and I love the fact that we are inclusive and just focus on helping everybody reach their goals and dreams.
Yeah. I think that's most important. And then one of the best part to me is they could grow while they're inside. Because a lot of people they just got gain love for the customer service,
Mm-hmm.
and then after the customer service, people got to keep their lights on, so they get a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that a lot of people don't like to leave y'all because of those two main cause
Yeah.
reasons.
I loved working in a store. I had the best time.
Yeah,
I drove to work every day, just excited. It was really, really cool. Love what I do now because I get to help a lot of people. But that going to work every day, knowing I was going to be working with my friends, wowing customers, having great interactions, it was the absolute best.
yeah.
And I wish that for many people.
It's funny because when I got released, I used to work for Last Parking.
Yeah.
And me intertwining with all of those customers was like, it was beauty.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just something, but it was just too cold out there by the airport.
Yeah, that's tough work.
Yeah, and I give kudos to those guys who's helping park the customers' cars in those type of weathers because my hands couldn't move, and I had like 3 jobs there, and that's when they had rushed me to the doctor because of the blood transfusion. But we here though,
We're here.
This is my man Big T. I just want guys to know how could they is there a website they could go online to apply for the Valvoline or either car wash?
Yes, yeah. So they can go to www.oilchangejobs.com, plural jobs.com, and they can go to www.carwashjobs.net. So those two places.
Yeah, I think it'd be a wise idea if you're just coming home. It's not a job just to be a job, but it could be turned into a career thing if y'all was interested in it. Y'all heard it from the guy Tom himself, the H&R, the leader of the H&R for Valvoline and Mr. Car Wash. Get back on that website and put in for it. And but don't think you're just gonna get it just because you came in. Just be prepared and if y'all need script